Hey guys, welcome back to Fixie TV. I'm your host Anton, and we're happy to announce a new series that we're starting here on the channel. And we're calling it, Hey Let's Fix It. This is where we sort of show you the typical kinds of repairs that we get here at Fixie.ph, as well as sort of investigate the other kind of repairs that we can offer in the future. So smash that like button if you haven't already, and hit subscribe so you don't miss any of our new videos coming up in the next couple of weeks. In today's video, we're going to be doing mouse repairs, specifically on my old daily driver, the Steelseries Rival 310. I love this mouse. It was perfect for gaming and just regular everyday use. I actually still recommend this mouse to people that have a budget of around 50 to 60 USD and want to get a decent gaming mouse. But unfortunately, after a year, I started experiencing double-clicking issues with it. Soon after, the scroll wheel became unresponsive and it just became difficult to use. Here's a clip of the mouse showing all the signs of the problems, like the scroll wheel jerking and the double clicking. It got to a point where it was just so irritating that I just decided to buy a new mouse. However, not everyone can just buy a new mouse. Sometimes it's more worthwhile for them to fix it themselves. So if you're one of these people that just love their mouse so much and want to repair it, it's completely doable, but you'll need a few things first. First off, you need some soldering iron and some solder, and preferably some experience with using it. You're going to be soldering a lot of components, so it's good to have some experience beforehand before attempting this on your precious mouse. You'll also need a small Phillips head screwdriver to remove the screws that are holding the case together. Now for the parts that you're going to use to replace the old ones with, you'll need your mouse click switches and a scroll wheel decoder, just for our case. For the main mouse switches, we're using Kale GM Red switches. Apparently mice are a lot like keyboards where they have different kinds of switches. So it's up to you to decide what kind of replacement you'd like to use. But at this point, anything above the stock Chinese ones they provide with the mouse is a big upgrade. We chose the Kale Red switches because of their tactile feel and fast actuation force. We got these switches for about 120 pesos each, about $2. They're more pricey than your typical stock switches, but you'll notice the difference later on. We'll show that later in the video. Since our scroll wheel was messing up, we decided to change it as well. We just got generic scroll wheel decoders for about $1 for a pack of 5. This is very affordable, and if your scroll wheel is breaking, this is something I do recommend you change as well. To start the repair, we need to remove the plastic feet underneath the mouse. You might want to change these later on because there's a good chance you'll damage them when taking them out. Next, you'll need to unscrew 4 screws holding the mouse together. Once those are off, you'll be able to remove the top portion of the mouse. You'll notice that there's a cable connecting the top of the mouse to the bottom. This is the RGB lighting cable on the mouse. Unplug that and set the top portion of the mouse aside. Now you'll want to unplug the cable connecting the mouse to the USB. Afterwards, you can undo the 4 screws holding the mouse controller to the bottom case. You can then slide out the mouse wheel and put it aside. Now that you've removed the bottom case of the mouse, you can access the mouse controller. This is where you'll see the mouse switches and scroll wheel decoder. Now comes the tricky part, where we also messed up a bit. For most SteelSeries mice, the solder used to place the components takes a while to heat up, so you can't remove it right away. We used the technique where we added a bit of solder to mix with the existing solder to remove it. Ideally, you'd want to heat up the pin of the switch first, then add a bit of solder, then pump the solder out. This will make it pretty easy to remove the existing switches. However, our soldering iron wasn't heating up properly, so we weren't able to remove the solder easily. We eventually tried doing a different method where we clipped the switches to try and pry them out with pliers. This whole process took forever, and we don't advise going down this route. If you have a good working soldering iron and solder pump, this entire process would be pretty easy. After you finish removing the old components, you can place in your new ones. Just pop them into place in the same orientation you took them out. The controller board kinda has a schematic of how it should go in, so you can just follow that if need be. Once the components are in place, just solder them in. Be careful not to use too much solder because this might short the different components. Now you can place the mouse controller back on the bottom case. Then you can reattach all the cables, then screw both the top and bottom case of the mouse on. Once everything's back in place, you're ready to test your mouse out. The entire repair didn't go as expected. We honestly thought we broke the mouse with the way that we were handling it, but to our surprise, it worked properly. We advise everyone that's going to attempt this repair to get a good soldering iron and practice a bit before you do it. This Steelseries mouse was actually really hard to desolder, so the method that we did use is not advised, but it worked. Now, how easy is it to fix? We give it a 5 out of 10. Because if you do know how to solder things and handle your computer components, it's pretty easy. But if you don't have any experience there, we recommend that you start practicing before attempting this on your own mouse. You might end up damaging the entire thing and you'll end up having to buy a new one. But overall, this was a very affordable repair and I'd recommend it to anyone who has the ability and tools to do so. Thanks so much for watching. If you liked the video, hit the thumbs up button and comment down below. If you like what you see, consider subscribing. We do weekly tech videos, so hit that notification bell to not miss any of our new videos. Till the next one, see ya!